Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central. And here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another fantastic episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, thanking you for taking a little bit of time to join me and my guests as we talk about the people, events, and organizations that make Foxborough the gem of Norfolk County. And in this 2016 election series special, I'm pleased to bring to you Chris Connolly. Chris, nice to meet you, is running for one of the two seats that are currently being contested for the Foxborough School Committee. So welcome aboard, Chris.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here.
Thank you. And for those of you who are new to Foxborough Central, we try to bring you information, and we also try to share the good things. And it's always good when volunteers seek elected office here in town, because it shows that the community is strong. And you're actually relatively new to our community, Chris. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you came here?
My name's Chris Connolly. I'm a teacher in Brockton. I've been a teacher for 12 years. Prior to teaching in Brockton, I was at St. Catherine's of Siena in Norwood. I was never really political. I never really thought I was going to run for an office. At the end of the 2013-14 school year, our principal came to us and told us that all after-school programs were being eliminated for budget reasons. I wanted to do something about that, so I went out and I found some programs, got some grants, and got some programs back into the schools. We had after-school homework help, after-school mentoring, and after-school basketball. That kind of got like the bug in me, and I purchased a house in Granite Street in Foxborough, mainly because the schools in Foxborough are great. Everyone agrees to that. I want to make them greater, and I have some ideas to do that.
Fantastic. And you come to us as a veteran of the rank and file, and you teach 8th grade.
8th grade history.
8th grade history, yes. Yep. Great times. Do you think that the 8th grade history student is smarter today than yesterday? Is the curriculum good?
I don't. I think in the past, when we had our standards prior to Common Core, there was actually history being taught. What I'm seeing now is I'm doing a lot of English, a lot of writing and reading, and I have a lot of students in Brockton who come to me not knowing what state they live in. They don't know what country they live in, and it's sad. And I think the standards that we have now are not up to par to what we had prior.
So that segues right into what I think is your primary we'll call it a plank that you're running on, is to take a step away from the Common Core teaching curriculum. Is that correct?
I don't know if that's my primary reason I'm running. It's definitely a part of my campaign. I think that the school board, the local people, should have more of a say of what's being taught in their schools than what's being told and forced down their throats nationally. And I think if there's an issue in the schools, even if it's a national program, the school board could be able to have a say. And it's going to be on the ballot in November.
Is it really?
Yeah, and when you vote for president, there's going to be a question about returning to our standards that we had prior to Common Core.
Is this a statewide ballot question, or is it
a statewide ballot question?
So people are being given an opportunity to, in a sense, opt out of the national curriculum.
Yes, we'll be able to opt out. Most states have already opted out of Common Core.
Have they really?
It was created as a national standard, and most states have already left it. And when we return to what we had prior, the state allows the boards different pathways of different ways you can teach. And I think as a teacher, having a master's degree in education, I'd be an asset to choose the best pathway for Foxborough.
I'm speaking with Chris Connolly, who's running for one of the two seats on the Foxborough School Committee. We'll get to your primary plank in a second, but I want to dig a little bit deeper into the Common Core issues. So, Common Core, can you just explain maybe in a 30-second snippet, what exactly is Common Core?
Common Core was designed to bring national standards throughout the country under Race to the Top from Barack Obama. And what's happened is most states have left it because the standards that Common Core have set are not up to par with what we had prior. So the standards are going down, but the amount of time testing has gone up. The standards are going down, and the frustration among the students is going up. In my 12 years of teaching, I've never seen so many students hate school, and it's because of the testing. And usually where I teach in Brockton, all the students love school because it's their chance out. It's their way out.
Interesting.
And I'm not liking what I'm seeing with the Common Core.
Interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that little bit, and I look forward to learning more about the issue. And as we near the November election, I'm sure that'll be front and center. But you're looking to have the Foxborough School Department get involved, and as a member of the school committee, you would take an advocacy role.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think the amount of testing and the changing in the formats of the testing is not good for the students of Foxborough. It's not good for students anywhere.
Interesting. There was a political cartoon that was sort of speaking to this, where there was a teacher who said, unfortunately, since there's no test for recess, we won't be having recess any longer.
Yeah.
And then I suppose that drives it home. Things have changed. So before we get into the meat and potatoes of your run for the seat, if people want to get in touch with you, I know you have a Facebook page. That's indeed how I got a hold of you. So
Yes.
so it's you can friend Chris Connolly.
You can friend me, Chris Connolly, or you can go on to Connolly for Foxborough Schools, so facebook.com/Connolly for Foxborough Schools.
Okay.
You can call me at 617-759-3364.
Fantastic. Easy to get a hold of you, except during school hours. Don't call
Yeah.
during school hours because you're busy teaching, right?
Yes.
Excellent. So you are here in Foxborough, and I understand you are Foxborough's most eligible bachelor, and you have just purchased a home, so you're here to stay.
Yes, I'm here to stay.
Phenomenal. Well, welcome to the community, and I wish you the best. But to get the rest of this out, what is the primary plank that you want to run? I know there's many things we were talking about before the interview, and I hope we have enough time to get to all of them. I know we will. So hit me something.
Like I said, Foxborough schools are great. I have some ideas to make them greater. One of my main ones is I want to create an advanced level program for elementary students. So the first year will be 3 through 5. Then we'll go up to 3 through 6, because I know at the O'Hearn they start the honors program in 7th grade. And that would be more challenging for the students, because there's a lot of programs to bring students up, but when they're already near the top, there's not many programs that can move them up. And we have this program called TAG in Brockton. It's the Talented and Gifted program.
Okay.
And it's more hands-on, it's a lot more challenging, and I want to adopt that and bring it to Foxborough.
Interesting. And are there results being gleaned from the TAG program?
Oh yeah. So many towns have come into Brockton, studied what they're doing, and have adopted it in their own districts.
Really? Now, in your role as a teacher of 8th grade history, how does that factor into the TAG program? Do you touch it at all? Is it?
I don't have those students.
Mm-hmm.
I have.
So it's a separate track.
Yes.
But then, all kids belong somewhere, and all kids can gain best education opportunities through a different track. So what you're proposing is a TAG track for gifted and talented kids to be able to sort of funnel into the honors programs.
Yes.
At the higher grades.
Yes.
Interesting. And now, is this a tremendously expensive proposition? Is it one that is cutting edge, that maybe is not tried and tested? Is it something that's easily done? I don't know anything about it, so.
It's been around for a couple of decades in Brockton, and I don't think it'll cost the town any money.
Really?
No.
Phenomenal. So it sounds like it's a good opportunity, being a member of the school committee, to introduce that to Foxborough.
Yeah, I think it will really help.
So we have the Gifted and Talented program for the elementary school students, and we have obviously the attention to the Common Core curriculum, and perhaps a reversion back to, and before Common Core it was?
It was just Massachusetts frameworks and standards.
Okay, so we have just essentially a revert back to the way it was.
Yes.
The successful program before. So that's
Back
only
when-
2 planks. Of course, it takes many planks to build a house. So what's something else that you're passionate about?
The other part, I want to hire a part-time grant writer just for the schools. I know that the town had Sharon Wason,
Yes.
and she was the city planner, and she brought a lot of grants into the town of Foxborough. And I think having somebody specific for our schools will take a lot of the burden off of administrators and teachers who have to go out and write their own grants right now. It'll bring a lot of programs into the town, it'll bring more technology into the town, and I think it will save the town money in the event that there's budget problems in the future.
Very interesting. That does sound like something that's worthwhile, because many of the opportunities are missed for funding, and proposals do take time to write. There are professional grant writers out there, and there's a reason for that, because you only get one shot at these things for the most part, and if you don't have somebody with the experience and the time to dedicate to doing it, you put yourself in a situation where you're playing catch up. And unfortunately, people who have full-time jobs already have full-time jobs.
Yes.
If they had all this time to do grant writing and to have that part of their skill set, then they probably would be doing that, right?
Yes, and there's so many grants out there, it's just difficult to find the best ones. So I think part-time, you could bring in a retired administrator who has worked in education, that knows how to write grants, keep them involved in the town, and bring in a lot of good programs for the town.
That certainly does make sense. Okay, so we've talked about Common Core, TAG, and a grant writing program. Is there anything else on the agenda, or are those the big three?
Those are the big three. I have other ideas. I mean, I have many years in education, but I think once we get back to our standards, we could get more involved in economics, so the students learn how to balance checkbooks, because all this stuff has been forgotten now because of the mandates put upon the teachers in the schools.
Interesting. You know, it's you raised that you didn't say it, but I'll say you teach to the test. And when you start teaching to the test, you sort of miss opportunities because you don't have time to explore. You don't have you don't have the environment to let education occur organically. You're teaching to a standardized test, and I would think that would be frustrating because, in a sense, you're dumbing down the curriculum to make it not to pardon the pun, but make it just a commonality to teach the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, we don't call it teaching to the test as teachers. We call it understanding by design. That's our keyword. But
I'm not a teacher, but if we're the same thing, that means we're on the same page.
And then I know Mark Sullivan's running on the opiate issue, and I've done a lot for that in Brockton. I brought in different programs to the schools, different assemblies. It's called No First Time. And what it is parents who lost their children to overdose. And that's something else that I could help with the town.
Well, opiates is certainly a critical issue, and one that's certainly getting a lot of publicity now, but still, unfortunately, not a lot of understanding. And as is true with most things in life, it takes government a little bit of time to catch up to the realities of the world. So good for you for addressing that and being willing to take that on. Again, I'm talking with Chris Connolly, who is running for one of the 2 seats with our Foxborough School Committee. Don't forget the vote. May 2nd is the date, and I know you'll want to circle that now on your calendar. There are going to be many opportunities for Chris to get his message out. Here, of course, on Foxborough Central, the Foxborough JC's Candidates Night, which is also hosted here at Foxborough Cable Access, and through information in our local paper, and Bertanu, our crack reporter out there with the Foxborough Reporter. But if you want to learn more directly, your Facebook page, become a friend with Chris Connolly at Facebook.
Facebook.com/Connolly for Foxborough Schools, or you can friend request me, Chris Connolly. You can call me, 617-759-3364, and my email is coachconnolly@gmail.com.
coachconnolly@gmail.com. And Coach, what is the coach for?
I used to be the girls' varsity basketball coach at East Bridgewater.
Excellent.
Yes.
Well, I like you anyway. I'm a basketball official, so we... never mind, that's beside the point. So it's great to have you come join us tonight, and I'm going to give you the last word. We have about a minute left in the program, so Chris, please share.
Okay, so I'm running for school committee because I think I can help the board. The Foxborough schools are great, that's why I purchased my house here, but I have some ideas to make them greater. I want to create the advanced level program in the elementary classes. I want to hire a part-time grant writer to bring more programs, more technology into the town, and I am the anti-Common Core candidate.
The anti-Common Core candidate has spoken. I have great respect for somebody who can eloquently state what they're about, and you've done a great job of doing that. Thank you, Chris, for coming out and joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, and sharing your message here on Foxborough Central. And of course, if you missed this, you can catch a replay on your favorite cable access channel, or www.fcatv.org. And of course, I'm sure that Mr. Connolly will probably link this to his Facebook page and share it with his friends and followers as well. And the key message here is get out and vote on May 2nd. Until I see you at the polls, and join me again for live election night coverage after the polls close on May 2nd. I'm Bob Hickey, your host, thanking you, and I hope you have a great day, Foxborough. Take care.